every human being that's in this planet is a social being, and they have some sort of relationship to social science. My name is Hayden Dawes, PhD. I will be an assistant professor at Bryn Mawr College, the Graduate School of Social Work and Social Research. First, I had no idea I would be an actual PhD and a professor and a researcher in all the things that I think are interesting about the world, and also the things that I think need to be changed. Thinking about what social science really is, I've really sort of started considering that question. And I think it gets to some of the most philosophical, existential questions that we have. It helps us answer the question of who are we? And not just who we are in terms of our identities, our communities, our groups, our nations, but also thinking about how are we living in the world? So I really look at sort of digital online spaces as they relate to queer people of color. And I look at the different social ills that queer people of color experience, being multiple minoritized folks. During the pandemic, the world is getting smaller. We're having to wear masks. There's a lot of different political discourse that's very harming to see those images on the news of what it means to be a person of color, what it means to be a queer person. So as a way of practice to sort of help myself feel better, I started writing permission slips to myself. And I noticed that made myself feel better. And so I said, well, what if I opened up my practice for like 14 days to the rest of the world? So I had two sort of major online components, one in this open community of X, and then the second being in this closed community using a platform to have people practice this permission slips for well-being and for mental health benefits. Social work to me is very much an applied discipline of one of the social sciences. And so we answer the questions of like, how do we create more equitable conditions for the least of these in terms of economics, in terms of oppression that people might be experiencing? How do we create a more fair, a more just society, while at the same time helping people both accept the conditions as they are, but move forward so that we can actually live so much more harmoniously while we're answering those questions of who are we and also who we want to be. What led me to Odom was I had questions that I didn't want to sort of bother my research advisor with or some of my professors. And your peers, they're trying to do the best they can to help you, but they're also learning at the same time. So I saw Odom as a way of somewhere to support my research and some of the different ideas that I had. As a PhD student, I had a vision of some of my projects, but sometimes the instrumental sort of knowledge and tools that were needed, I had to seek help and support with that. So the Odom Institute was the best place for me to get that support that I needed. It feels like a great time whenever I meet with any of the consultants here. There are so many wonderful people, they're very accessible, they're knowledgeable, and it really sort of helps alleviate a lot of my anxieties that I have about my project. So I can definitely see myself continuing to reach out, continuing to foster these relationships that I've already formed here with the Odom Institute.